In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 NBA games happening on April 10, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. New York Knicks versus Detroit Pistons. The NBA slate on Thursday night includes a matchup out of the Eastern Conference, where the New York Knicks will go head-to-head with the Detroit Pistons. This will mark the 4th time these two teams face off this season, and so far, the Pistons have the upper hand, leading the series 2-1. The Knicks are coming off a frustrating overtime loss to the Celtics at home, falling 119-117 in a game they were slightly favored to win by 1.5 points. Meanwhile, the Pistons also took a loss in their last outing, dropping a 127-117 game to the Kings despite being favored by 4.5 points on their home floor. New York is going to be missing some key players in this one, with Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, and Og Anunoby all confirmed out. On the other side, Detroit is monitoring Isaiah Stewart, who is questionable due to some soreness in his knee. Head coach Tom Thibodeau is the kind of guy who's not into resting his players, especially with only 3 games left and playoff positioning still very much in play. The Knicks are expected to go hard, likely giving their starters heavy minutes, which has basically been the routine all season. They're clinging to that 3rd seed and don't want to drop, especially knowing the Pistons are most likely locked into the 6th spot. Even with Damian Lillard sidelined, the Knicks would rather go up against the Pistons than have to deal with Giannis in a playoff series. There's also the added motivation of revenge here. New York has lost 2 of 3 to Detroit already and just let one slip away to Boston. Detroit doesn't match up well with Towns either. Harris gives up too much size, and Duren struggles to guard shooters on the perimeter. Expect New York to bring the intensity. As our first pick for this matchup, the New York Knicks to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The way this Knicks team is built, they naturally lean toward low-scoring games. Each of their 5 starters logs over 35 minutes a night, and with that kind of workload, there's no rush to push the pace. Offensively, the Knicks play slow and methodical, usually working through pick and rolls with Brunson and Towns, while the rest of the crew either spots up from beyond the arc or makes timely cuts to the rim. Defensively, they've held it down, especially with the return of Mitchell Robinson, who adds a shot-blocking presence off the bench. New York has hit the under in 5 of their last 6 games, the lone exception being that overtime game against Boston. The Pistons play a similar brand of basketball, mostly running their offense through Cade Cunningham. They've also stayed under in 3 of their last 4, with both teams leaning on heavy minutes and half-court offense. This one is shaping up to be another low-scoring affair as the regular season winds down. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Cleveland Cavaliers versus Indiana Pacers. The Cleveland Cavaliers, holding an impressive 63-16 record, are set to face off against a familiar opponent from the Eastern Conference, the Indiana Pacers. Both teams are coming into this matchup with some momentum. Cleveland just grabbed a win over the Bulls, and Indiana managed to take care of business against the Wizards. Cleveland will be heading into this one a bit shorthanded, as they'll be without 3 of their core players, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley, all of whom have been ruled out. On the other side, the Pacers are monitoring Ben Shepherd's status, as he's currently listed as questionable. The Cavaliers have already secured the top seed in the Eastern Conference, so they're choosing to rest their stars and coast into the playoffs. Meanwhile, Indiana is still grinding. They're trying to secure that 4th seed and maybe even put pressure on the Knicks for 3rd. With Cleveland missing its big names, it's tough not to lean toward the Pacers. Indiana has looked solid at home this season, racking up 28 wins there. It's a big spread, but without Mitchell, Garland, and Mobley on the floor, it feels like the Pacers are in a strong spot to take control. Cleveland's still finding ways to win games, but their mindset has clearly shifted to staying healthy for the postseason. That's why we're seeing key players sit out. On the flip side, Indiana's got plenty on the line, and this is the kind of opportunity they won't want to let slip by. Facing a Cavaliers team that's basically running with backups, Indiana's motivation and firepower should be enough to get the job done. As our first pick for this matchup, Indiana Pacers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Cavaliers have been hitting the over a lot this season, but lately the trend is starting to flip. Injuries and a heavier focus on defense have slowed things down. In fact, 3 of Cleveland's last 4 games have landed under the total. Without Mitchell, Garland, and Mobley, the offense is almost guaranteed to lose some punch. Indiana's defense isn't elite by any means, but it should be more than enough to handle Cleveland's second string. With the top seed already locked in, Cleveland's giving their main guys the night off and handing extended minutes to their bench. Those younger, less experienced players will be doing the heavy lifting here. Even though the Pacers haven't exactly been known for their defense this year, they should be able to hold Cleveland under their usual scoring average. Offensively, Indiana has the tools to put up points, especially against a weakened Cavaliers lineup. They like to push the pace, and after starting slow against the Wizards, they'll be looking to make a statement early. Expect them to jump out to a lead and then ease off in the fourth. There'll likely be some clunky possessions down the stretch with backups on the floor, chewing up clock and keeping the score low. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Atlanta Hawks versus Brooklyn Nets. The Atlanta Hawks, holding a record of 37-42, are hitting the road to face off against the Brooklyn Nets on Thursday night at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. The Hawks are coming off a 119-112 loss to the Orlando Magic on Tuesday. That dropped them 2 games behind Orlando, who sit in the 7th spot in the Eastern Conference, with just 3 games left on the schedule. Atlanta has already secured a spot in the play-in round, though, so they've at least got that going. Meanwhile, the Nets managed to pull off a 119-114 win over the New Orleans Pelicans on Tuesday, snapping a 2-game skid. Still, their season is officially over in terms of playoff hopes. Atlanta continues to deal with some key injuries, missing Larry Nance Jr., Jalen Johnson, and Clint Capela. On the other side, Brooklyn will once again be without Cam Thomas, Cameron Johnson, and D'Angelo Russell. For the Hawks, there's still something on the line. They're trying to hold on to their play-in seeding, but the Nets, they're just trying to get through these last few games. Brooklyn's been in cruise control for a while now, clearly focused on next season. Atlanta needs to win to stay locked in at the 8th seed, which explains the line here. Still, it's tough to fully trust Atlanta when they're such heavy favorites. They've been all over the place this season and are sitting at 38-40-1 against the spread. Brooklyn, on the other hand, has taken 7 of the last 10 meetings against the Hawks and has covered the spread in each of the last 8 matchups. And this is only the 3rd time all season Atlanta is favored by double digits. Not exactly inspiring confidence. As our first pick for this matchup, the Brooklyn Nets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Atlanta ranks 5th in the league when it comes to putting points on the board, but they've been a mess defensively, giving up the 3rd most points per game, 27th overall in that department. The over has hit in 9 of the Hawks' last 12 outings, and 8 of their last 10 road games have also gone over. Brooklyn's games have leaned the same way recently, with the over cashing in 5 of their last 6 overall and in 4 of their last 6 matchups with the Hawks. Atlanta comes into this one ranked 3rd in pace, so expect a fast-moving game. Onyeka Okongwu had himself a night against Orlando, logging career-high points and draining 4 threes, also a career best. He grabbed the most rebounds in the game, too, notching his 2nd straight double-double and his 27th of the season. This is a very winnable game for Atlanta, and with the chance to still reach the 7th seed, their starters should see heavy minutes. Since neither squad is anywhere near the top 20 in defensive rating, there should be no shortage of scoring chances. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. New Orleans Pelicans versus Milwaukee Bucks. The New Orleans Pelicans are heading to Milwaukee on Thursday to face off against the Bucks at Fiserv Forum. This will be their 2nd meeting of the season. The first clash happened on April 6th in New Orleans, where the Bucks edged out a close win, 111-107. Over the last 10 games between these two, Milwaukee holds a 7-3 advantage straight up, while the against the spread record is split evenly at 5-5. For folks tracking totals, the over hit in 7 of those 10 games, with 1 push. For this game, the Pelicans will once again be without C.J. McCollum, Zion Williamson, and Trey Murphy. The Bucks have ruled Damian Lillard out as well, and Pat Connaughton is questionable heading into the night. The Pelicans are in a rough spot right now. They're seriously banged up and coming off a tough loss to a struggling Nets team. Meanwhile, the Bucks seem to have finally found some rhythm. Their comeback win over the Timberwolves last time out should have pumped a little life into the squad. With all the context, it makes sense that the Bucks are strong favorites here. This is a wide spread, and honestly, it doesn't do much to get me fired up. But when you look at how things have been going for the Pelicans, only 7 wins on the road and a 33-43-3 record against the spread this season, it's tough to make a case for them. Milwaukee, on the other hand, has been covering more consistently, hitting in 7 of their last 10 games. That big win against Minnesota probably gave them a boost they'll carry into this one. The Bucks are also still fighting to lock in the 5th seed in the East. The Pelicans, meanwhile, are basically down to a skeleton crew and likely aren't putting too much stock into these final games. As our first pick for this matchup, the Milwaukee Bucks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Looking at scoring trends, the Bucks have been putting up between 110 and 133 points in each of their last 5 outings. Defensively, they've allowed between 103 and 123 points. On the Pelicans side, they've scored between 107 and 113 points over their last 3 games, while giving up between 111 and 124. So the over has hit or pushed in all 3 of New Orleans' recent games and in 6 of the last 8 for Milwaukee. In their last matchup, Milwaukee won 111-107, right on the line of the 218 total, just a push. If Giannis Antetokounmpo is active, it's not hard to imagine a few more points sneaking in to tip the scale over. New Orleans tends to hit the over when they're road underdogs, and Milwaukee follows suit when they're favorites at home. With both teams trending toward higher scoring games lately, 6-1 for the Bucks, 2-0 for the Pelicans, the over looks like a solid option. Add in the fact that their last 10 matchups have gone over 7 times, and the case gets stronger. Milwaukee probably won't go all out defensively, especially with a back-to-back game against Detroit coming up. That might give the Pelicans just enough room to keep up on offense and help the total sneak over 221. Both teams play at a middle-of-the-pack tempo, ranking 14th and 15th in pace, so they'll be comfortable with how this one plays out. New Orleans has averaged just under 110 points over their last 3, which is plenty if Milwaukee lights up the scoreboard like they usually do. And considering how badly the Pelicans defend around the rim, they're ranked 26th in that area. The Bucks should have no trouble piling on points. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Minnesota Timberwolves versus Memphis Grizzlies. As the regular season winds down and playoff positioning becomes more urgent, the Grizzlies are set to host the Timberwolves in a key Western Conference battle. Both teams have already locked in at least a spot in the play-in tournament, but neither is content to stay there. They're looking to finish on a high note and climb the standings enough to avoid that extra hurdle altogether. Minnesota comes into this one licking their wounds after their 5-game win streak came to an abrupt end, thanks to a complete collapse in the 4th quarter of their last game, where they somehow blew a 24-point lead. On the flip side, Memphis has steadied themselves nicely, bouncing back from a rough 4-game skid with 3 straight wins. They've already handled the Timberwolves twice this season and have locked in defensively over their past few outings. The Grizzlies have been dependable at home all year, and there's no real reason to think that changes now. This line feels a little strange when you think about what just happened. The Timberwolves gave up a 24-point lead, basically let the Bucks walk all over them late, and now they're supposed to come in on the road and cover a spread. Doesn't really sit right. Memphis has beaten them the last 2 times and they're playing at home, where they've racked up 25 wins. Plus, thanks to the Warriors dropping their game last night, Memphis now controls its own fate when it comes to avoiding the play-in. That's a huge motivator. Minnesota's definitely going to be looking to bounce back hard after that humiliating collapse against Milwaukee on Tuesday. But don't expect any favors from the Grizzlies. Memphis is riding a 3-game winning streak and has started to look like themselves again. They've taken both matchups with Minnesota this season, each by just 2 points, but wins are wins. You could argue either side here since both teams are carrying momentum, but that kind of heartbreaking loss sticks with a team. As our first pick for this matchup, the Memphis Grizzlies money line is our full game side pick. The Grizzlies like to keep the game moving, fast breaks, aggressive drives, and controlling the glass. They lead the league in pace, averaging 103.3 possessions per 48 minutes. Compare that to the Timberwolves, who sit near the bottom at 97.3. Minnesota will try to throw a wrench into that rhythm by slowing it down and forcing Memphis into a more half-court, grinded-out style of play. The Wolves lean heavy on the 3-ball, ranking 6th in how often they shoot it and 5th in how often they make it. Memphis doesn't shoot it as much, 20th in attempts, but they hit at a decent clip, sitting 13th in percentage. Both teams have seen their recent games finish under the total, and the trends might keep pointing that way. The Grizzlies might be the 2nd highest scoring team in the league, but lately they've been winning with defense, not shootouts. They haven't had any offensive offensive explosions in their last few outings. Minnesota's defense had been locked in two up until that fourth quarter against the Bucks, where they just unraveled. Still, this kind of late-season showdown doesn't usually turn into a points fest. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.